For the longest time, the story of AI has felt pretty simple. Bigger is always better, right? We just keep building these massive neural networks, we feed them mountains of data, and we spend, frankly, a fortune on computation. But what if that's all wrong? What if, hidden inside these giant, incredibly expensive models, there are tiny, hyper-efficient little networks just waiting to be discovered? Well, that's the mystery we're going to unpack today.
So, here's the game plan. We're going to start with the paradox that really set the stage for all of this. Then we'll get into the bombshell idea of a winning ticket. After that, we'll track the hunt to actually find them, see how the code was finally cracked for these giant models, tackle the real-world hardware problem, which is a big one, and finally explore what this all means for the future of AI.
All right, first up, the paradox of over-parameterization. For more than a decade, the entire AI world pretty much ran on a single assumption. It led to some incredible breakthroughs, for sure, but it also kicked off this unsustainable arms race. And that assumption was basically this. To find a good solution to a problem, you need a network that has way more connections, or parameters, than you'd think are actually necessary. The thinking was, if you have this huge kind of messy playground of possibilities, it makes it easier for the model to find a good path to a solution without getting stuck. And hey, it worked. But it came at an absolutely staggering computational cost.
And I mean, just look at the scale we're talking about here. We went from 60 million parameters back in 2012 to 175 billion by 2020. And trust me, the trend has only gotten crazier since then. This isn't just scaling, it's a full-blown explosion. It's made AI development unbelievably expensive and, not great for the environment. This path just isn't sustainable.
Then, in 2019, our first big clue emerged that something was really wrong with this picture. A paper from two researchers, Jonathan Frankel and Michael Carbon, dropped an absolute bombshell that challenged the entire bigger is better philosophy. They called it the lottery ticket hypothesis. Okay, stick with me here because this is the core idea, and it's a total mindbender. The hypothesis says that within every giant, complex network, there's a tiny, sparse subnetwork hiding inside. Sparse meaning it has very few connections. They call this a winning ticket. And the wild part is, if you could just find this tiny network at the very beginning and train only it, you'd get the same amazing results without all the massive computational waste. The analogy is just perfect. Training a huge network isn't about using all of its connections. It's like buying millions and millions of lottery tickets just to find that one single winner. The hypothesis suggests the real magic isn't the overall size of the network, but its ability to contain this one perfect, tiny little circuit from the moment it's created. Fantastic theory, right? But how do you actually find these winning tickets? Well, the first method that was proposed was kind of like a treasure map. But as with all good treasure hunts, this one came with a dramatic and, frankly, pretty unexpected twist. So the original method is called iterative magnitude pruning, or IMP. It's basically a four-step loop. First, you do the expensive thing. You train the entire huge network. Second, you prune away the weakest connections, the ones with the smallest numbers. Third, and this is the really weird critical step, you take all the connections that are left and rewind them back to the exact random values they started with. And finally, you just repeat this whole process until your network is as tiny and sparse as you want. It's a brute force way to prove these tickets actually exist. Now, this raises a really obvious question, right? If the winning ticket exists from the very start, why not just find it before you start the super expensive training process? And this idea sparked a whole new field called pruning at initialization, which used all these clever techniques to analyze the network at step 0 and predict which connections were going to be important. This was the dream, making AI training cheap. But here's the plot twist. A really damning paper came out and performed what they called sanity checks on these shortcuts. And what they found was wild. They took the structure these methods found and then just randomly shuffled the connections within each layer. Now, if the method had found a specific important circuit, performance should have totally collapsed. But it didn't. It barely changed at all. These shortcuts weren't finding a specific ticket. They were just finding the right percentage of connections to keep per layer. The treasure map, it was a fake. Okay, so that shortcut was a dead end. But there was another massive hurdle to overcome: scaling up. That original IMP method, it worked beautifully on smaller networks, but it completely fell apart on the massive models that we actually use in the real world. Solving this led to the next crucial discovery.
So it turns out the first few moments of training a giant network are just pure chaos. The network is incredibly sensitive. It hasn't really committed to a direction yet. The winning structure that's found at the end of training is based on a path that it chose after this initial chaotic phase was over. So rewinding all the way back to the very beginning was like resetting a journey back to a starting point that wasn't even relevant anymore. The solution was so elegant, late rewinding. Instead of resetting the weights all the way back to that chaotic beginning, you just rewind them to a point a few steps into the training process, right after the chaos is settled down and the network has kind of locked on to its path. With that one simple tweak, the lottery ticket hypothesis suddenly worked for massive models. It was a huge breakthrough. And of course, this led to an even smarter idea. If finding the ticket is the real goal, why not just search for it from the very beginning? This is what's called dynamic sparse training, with a cool method called RigL, which stands for rigging the lottery. You start with a sparse network, and during training, you let it dynamically drop connections that aren't important and grow new ones where they're needed. It basically finds the winning ticket on the fly without ever having to train the full, dense, expensive model. So we've solved the training cost problem, but then a new mystery popped up. Even with these tiny, theoretically efficient networks, nobody was seeing any actual speed-ups in the real world. And this brings us to the hardware lottery. Well, it turns out our hardware, our GPUs, has won its own kind of lottery. They're incredibly optimized for dense, predictable blocks of computation. What they absolutely hate are random polka dot patterns of sparsity. The solution? We had to find tickets that fit a hardware-friendly structured pattern. Something like, say, ensuring that in every little block of 4 weights, 2 of them are 0. This kind of structure allows GPUs to finally deliver on those promised real-world speedup. So what about the absolute monsters of today? The giant language models that are just too big to retrain from scratch? Well, new methods have popped up. Sparse GPT can actually find an efficient, sparse version inside a fully trained model. And an even newer method, called Wanda, has this incredible insight. It looks at both the strength of a connection and how much it's actually getting activated by real data. It's just a smarter way to find the truly critical pathways in the network. Okay, let's bring this all home. After this whole journey through paradoxes, plot twists, and hardware lotteries, what's the grand takeaway from this scientific detective story? What does it all mean? The big lesson here is a fundamental shift in how we think about neural networks. The reason we build these giant models isn't because they need all that capacity to represent a solution. It's because they need all that capacity to explore the huge space of possible solutions. The dense network is just a launchpad, a search mechanism for finding a small, perfect, and elegant answer that was hidden inside all along. This table really lays out our entire journey, doesn't it? We started with IMP, which was the proof that these tickets even exist. Then, late rewinding made it all work for big models. RigL made the training itself efficient from the start. NVM sparsity finally solved the hardware problem. And methods like Wanda are adapting these ideas for the largest, most complex models we have today. It's an incredible progression. And this leaves us with a final, really provocative thought. For years, we've thought of AI development as an act of construction, right? Like we're building a bigger and bigger skyscraper. But maybe, just maybe, the lottery ticket hypothesis is telling us it's actually an act of discovery. Perhaps the art of creating intelligence isn't about building it all, but about finding the elegant simplicity that was already there, just hidden in the noise.